What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Yeah, I did. I started to another episode of the Chop Sports Show, coming to you live from the Richard Lucas Chevrolet and Subaru studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey. It is Sturch. It is Gooch. It is grassroots in this zone, bitch. Today, it's just me and him in the studio right now. Ashley, obviously, behind the glass. I mean, she should make Ashley the producer at this point. Just click
honestly,
just click a bunch of things.
I was thinking about it today.
So we hope everybody had a great weekend of football. I know I did. I had great pride in watching everything happen the way it all happened. We'll get into all of it, but obviously there's a lot to get into over this weekend. A lot of unfortunate things happened over the weekend. Chris went through it yesterday in multiple ways. He'll get into all that. But first, we unfortunately have to get into a rundown. But before we do that, be sure to celebrate. Be sure to support Chop Sports by doing this. Heading on, all right, Chris, I got it. Heading on over to, how did that happen? I don't even know how that happened. You weren't even in. Chopsports.com Patreon.com/Chop Sports. That's the way to support the brand. A $3, a $5, a $10 variation. That's the way to do it. I thank you guys so much for already. We just, again, every month we get a reminder of who the people are that support this brand month in and month out, and those who haven't canceled, thank you. We appreciate you guys tremendously. Yeah, just thank you over and over and over again. So, Gooch, unfortunately, we saw a bunch of stuff in the baseball world over the weekend, and our beloved Phillies could not get the job done over the weekend as the Astros become the World Series champions of 2022. I know Toast is out there cashing in the ATM. Big bucks. The bad guys won. Get into your rundown.
Yeah, so the bad guys won. Congratulations to the 2022 Houston Astros. They did it the right way, and they won the World Series. Tip your cap. It sucks, but this is what it's all about. Sports suck as much as they're great. I had a tough weekend. I had a tough month of October. I was hoping it wouldn't bleed into the month of November, but the Packers are officially looking for that top spot at this point. Like I don't.
Oh, you want the number one pick?
We're not going to get the number one pick, but I'm not.
You're get the tiebreaker against
I
the
don't
Lions.
I hope everybody doesn't expect to see this Mr. Doom and Gloom. If you heard me talking on Friday, I wasn't really overconfident about the Packer game. I picked them because they're my team. But, and
I'm the one who's out here saying it's not even going to come down to a Crosby field goal because they didn't even get a chance to do that. But we'll get into that game later. It's horrible.
Congrats.
Horrible.
But what I'm broken up about is my survivor pick. I am bounced from the grand prize of whatever 1,000 it would have been, 50K or something like that. I am no longer a part of it.
They had their finger on the book reservation for like a nice vacation and the Bahamas or something like that.
I know better than to start spending the money before you have it, but it was,
some of us.
It was devastating. Ashley was a little more devastated than I was over it. She had to cancel the trip to Cabo.
You came in, he was like, Ashley was really busted up about this. I was like, that's a lot of money to just think you might have a hold of, and then it's just like, goodbye.
It's like I don't actually sit there and think about these things
until it happens.
It's like every weekend when we would be together, he'd be like, I'm still in the survivor pool, and it would kind of hit me, and I would be like, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys can hear her, but she's basically saying every week it was like, oh, cool, cute little pool you're in, cute, and then it's like all of a sudden you're like 9 weeks in, you're like, hey, by the way, I'm still around in this thing, and we have a potential to really go nuts.
Ken, you're saying everyone did. I mean, not everyone did. I was in the survivor pool. There was 11 people left, and I think 5 of us picked the Bills, so now there's 6 people left. I had the Eagles picked up until the final second on Thursday, and I switched to Buffalo because I was worried.
Does your hatred for the Jets increase, or is it more like pissed off at the Bills?
I really just despise Josh Allen going forward, so fuck that guy.
Like, fuck Josh Allen, man.
Like, your pick makes sense.
It was
genuinely everybody was shocked.
You can't win them all.
Everybody was shocked. My entire
in
family I was watching the game was shocked. We'll get into it.
In my case, you can't win any, apparently. But it is what it is. Look, we live to work another day for free over here at Chop Sports. All good. But the reality is we're not here to talk about my misfortune. We're going to talk a little bit about the halfway point in the MVP odds and the futures awards in the NFL, because I think it's a good time to bring it up.
Bro, the entire time you were talking about that, I thought you were talking about the awards for baseball.
No, I don't care.
Swear to God.
Nope.
Like MVP race. You're like, the two-guy race in my head. I'm like, it's Judge.
I have not cared about baseball since January.
the entire season,
So,
by the way.
yeah, basically
before the 0.
No, that's not true. I was on board up until All-Star break. Josh Allen is still the clear leader. Not the clear leader, but he's coming in at plus 225 for the MVP. Mahomes and Hurts are both at plus 250. Lamar comes in at fourth at plus 1,000. I think it's a three-way race. I don't think that Josh Allen should be the favorite, so I think there's no value there. It's probably going to be Mahomes if I had my guess. But moving past the MVP. Oh, actually, before I move past the MVP, I did want to bring up Micah Parsons' odds. So Dave thought he might be in the conversation. Just want to tell you who he's in the conversation with. So Micah Parsons is plus 20,000, and don't think I wasn't going to at least.
Okay, but ready for this? Guess what you just did? You included Micah Parsons in the conversation.
I'm including
no,
Micah.
no, you did.
I'm including Micah Parsons in the conversation to show you.
He's got odds
to show you who he's sandwiched in between.
He's got documentation. He's got odds, bro.
All right, so
he's in the MVP.
You know who else is? You know who else is sitting at plus 20,000 right now?
Can't wait.
Matthew Stafford,
Wolf,
Derek Carr,
get out of here.
Aaron Rodgers.
All right, first of all, Micah Parsons is better than all three of those guys right now.
But if you wanted to throw money away,
is Aaron Rodgers really plus 20,000 right now?
And that just goes to show you how
the money
the chances that your boy has at winning MVP. And just conversely, to talk about it, Defensive Player of the Year, he already won it. He's minus 250. The next closest guy is plus 900. So Micah Parsons, your 2022 Defensive Player of the Year. Congrats. Just not going to sniff the MVP. Comeback Player of the Year, two-way race.
Kirk Cousins not in the conversation?
No, he's not even close either.
He should go on Dancing with the Stars with those moves yesterday.
Comeback Player of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year. It's a two-way race. Could you guess who they are?
Comeback Player of the Year will go to somebody that was injured last year, more than likely. Derrick Henry, does that count?
No.
Okay, so then
Saquon and Geno. Geno leading the charge. I just don't want to take forever. Geno should win it. Geno minus 135, Saquon plus 140. Here's where I find it interesting, and you could automatically just say Sirianni. And right now he's clear.
Whoever that Facebook user is, jump on over to YouTube so I can figure out who the hell you are. But go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, it's correct. Barkley and Geno. That sounds like a Ben Wexler comment. So Coach of the Year.
Knows better to get on.
Anyway,
YouTube.
Coach of the Year right now, clear-cut favorite Nick Sirianni minus 130. I kind of think that might shift a little bit. I think there's value in some of these other guys because I think that everybody expected the Eagles to do well this year. I don't know that everyone expected them to do as well as they are, but I expected them to potentially threaten for that division, if not win it. We talked about it. We had them at 14 wins or something like that. So not too much of a surprise there, but you got Brian Dable, you got O'Connell, you got Robert Saleh, and Pete Carroll. I think those guys definitely deserve some of that.
Pete Carroll needs a burn.
I don't know.
He's doing it with nothing.
But yeah, Pete Carroll, but really Brian Dable. The Giants are supposed to be shit. The Seahawks were supposed to be shit.
I don't know if they're supposed to be shit. I mean, they had shit on their roster, and everybody's playing above their potential.
So Pete Carroll and Kevin O'Connell come in at plus 700, and they're second place tied. And then Brian Dable's at plus 800, and Robert Saleh at plus 9.
Give me Robert Saleh right now, bro. He's got those guys playing some defense right now.
You're going to have to win a division, I think. Okay. So that puts me in the Pete Carroll range.
What, the Jets don't have a shot at the division?
You think the Jets are going to pass the Bills?
I mean,
realistically speaking.
Bro, listen, when I'm not a clickbaity guy. I'm saying, like, I picked the Jets to win 10 games this year.
You are definitely, I wouldn't say that you're not a clickbaity guy, or you are. I think that some of the things that you say, regardless of which way you want to slice it, like the Jets going into the season, you could have believed in them, but you did not pick the Jets to win their division.
But now we're sitting here 9 weeks, and I'm like, oh, okay, this defense is playing legitimate, good football. And that's how some of these teams carry themselves the entire way. Good defense.
You think the Jets have a chance to actually win the division over the Bills? And
I just watched them school. I mean, we haven't gone into the game yet, but I just watched them school Josh Allen, the best quarterback in football.
Fair. Bills, he's not, but I think he's
Who
close.
Is? Mahomes? Yeah,
yes.
Fine.
I don't think the Jets have really a chance. And if you look, I'm not going to look right now, but I guarantee their odds of winning that division are very bleak, because you have to think about it. Like, if there's a team that's really challenging the Bills right now,
Your report took the Jets 25-1 to win that division.
Huh?
25-1. And then the Jets are 6-3. This is Nick Shine, by the way, through the toughest part of their schedule. It's already done.
I agree. I'm not saying that the Jets aren't a way better team than I thought. Even this week, I was saying the Jets offense is done, et cetera, et cetera. It really wasn't their offense that completely took over.
We'll get into the game, but continue with your thing, and we'll get into it.
But yeah, I think that the Jets don't really have much of a shot to win their division, but they have definite shot at the wild card.
Okay.
They have to pass the Dolphins and the Bills.
Truth.
I don't even know. Do they have to pass the Dolphins, or are they tied?
They're tied right now, 6-3.
I think the Dolphins are a better team than the Jets, though.
Dolphins have a better offense. Jets have a better
Moving
defense.
past that, Offensive Player of the Year is basically the runner-up prize for the MVP. Jalen Hurts and Tyreek Hill are firmly entrenched. Tyreek Hill, man. He's the most receiving yards through 9 games in NFL
Well, like
history.
you said, unfortunately, it's runner-up to the MVP, but like Tyreek Hill made the Dolphins.
I think Tyreek Hill won't get any looks whatsoever in the MVP race, really. I mean, maybe if he does have like 2,100 receiving yards, you might have no choice but to give him a couple votes. But I think it's going to be a quarterback award for the MVP, and then you might see Tyreek Hill sneak in the Offensive Player of the Year. And Rookie of the Year, I honestly think it's a Kenneth Walker show, and Kenneth Walker.
It would have been Breece Hall, but yeah.
But Kenneth Walker is at plus 100, so basically even money. And then Damian Pierce plus 175, Chris Olave plus 700.
Olave has a chance because of Michael Thomas being out for the rest of the year. I feel like Olave is going to eat the rest of the way. So
I also look at just team success in these awards a lot. And
I
Kenneth Walker, they're looking like they're
always
in the driver's seat for the division. Unless
it's very hard for you to get behind like an MVP caliber guy if like the team is like 2-7. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, no, he's definitely one of the greatest players in the league, but it's like they don't give a shit. You know,
Rashawn Gary tore his ACL.
Womp, womp. It is officially, by the way, Monday. Today is the kickoff of Cowboys Packers week. Since we've been a company and done this show, the Cowboys have never played the Packers. So it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. And of course, this is how it works. Cowboys coming off the bye, emotionally charged. Mike McCarthy back to Lambeau. Aaron Rodgers looks like he's a fossil. Gary tears his ACL. Jones is going to play. This guy's doing this. Lazard's out. Blah, blah, blah.
Jones might be out.
This is a recipe for the Packers to win by 30, just so everybody's aware. This is how it all usually plays out. If history repeats itself, this is usually how it plays out.
I'm not sure that the Packers are going to score 30 points in a game this season.
Not against the Cowboys, they won't. But
so win by 30.
I'm just saying. I'm just being I'm being the what is it? Pessimistic? When is it when I'm like a doubter?
Thanks for the insight, Chris Payne. Don't sleep on Garrett Wilson if the Jets can turn up their offense a little bit.
That's no. He's talking about Rookie of the Year.
Oh,
no. Potential? No. Okay. Anyway, you got more odds over there? Or?
Garrett Wilson is 4th at plus 1,000, and that's it for my rundown. Also, Aaron Jones had an X-ray today, and it is unclear, so they have to
X-ray was yesterday, and now they're saying he's going to go. I read that this morning.
I just watched the thing 1 minute before we sat down in here, and it said that it was unclear on the X-ray, so they're scheduling a scan because they think that there's actual structural shit going on. So no broken bones, but unclear as to what
no broken bones. I'm just going to go Schefter just because I don't
care what Schefter
I
said.
do because sometimes he's got a little insight. I don't like the guy, but did I get blocked by Schefter again? Oh no, here he is. That's like damn, this happens all the time. Tests on Packers running back ankle came back negative according to source. Jones should be able to play this week. So that's an hour ago.
Well, I hope so, but
I don't. Cowboys can't stop the run.
My understanding is that Aaron Jones is dealing with something, and he probably won't play.
And Rodgers is hurt too. Let's get into the football. Before we do that, I do want to say that the Chop Sports Show, is being brought to you in part by Richard Lucas Chevrolet and Subaru. Make sure you guys go check out those guys in Avenel, New Jersey, right there on Route 9. That's 1, right? That's the 1 and 9 mix of New Jersey. I hate how they do that, but it's over there in Avenel. Go check out George over at Lucas Chevrolet. My boy Artie's over there too. Go check him. He sold me all the last 3 of my trucks. And of course, you can head on over to my boy Greg, who's doing the Subaru deal, who, by the way, sold a car to one Scoop. It's on the way, according to sources close to the situation. That Scoop's car has been ordered, and it's on its way. So, Scoop, I know you're in the chat right now. Your car will be there very soon. Go check out Richard Lucas Chevrolet and Subaru right now. And, of course, our friends over at the Pickett app. If you did as bad as I did over there on my picks today or last night, I went 1-7. Chris went 2-6. But again, these aren't logged on the bets because I usually tail the Sauce Network, which I did last night, which, by the way, a couple bad beats. Very shitty. But I will say, if you want to track those bets, head on over to Pickett. Use the code Chop Sports to start tracking your bets today. And of course, our friends down the hall over at Lowell's doing a whole bunch of merch for us. I believe they're about to work on another hoodie for one Tommy D for the Fight Factory. So they're putting in the work over there, and they're hooking us up. So our plugs to them and our thank yous to those ladies down the hall. And that's all I got. So again, heading into Monday Night Football, just so we know, our record stand is this. I fell way behind now. I'm 62-70, 8 games under 500, as Gooch has got the lead by a game over me, 63-69. And Rob, out of nowhere, is like 5 games behind me. So I don't know how the hell that happened, but that's where we're at. So let's get to the football, shall we? We'll start with that said game that we were talking about before, and it is the Jets and the Bills. Now, with this game, it was like, my dad said it. I believe it. I kind of agree with it. This might be the biggest upset in NFL history within the last 10 years, considering the spread. Look at the spread. It was a 10-point dog, 11 sometimes in some places. And the Jets came out, outright beat them, outright played them. The Jets defense looked incredible. Josh Allen looked lost. And look, this goes to show you that they don't have much of a running game, the Bills, and that could be a big thing going forward. The Jets, they found a way. And while Zach Wilson did not light up the scoreboard, he hit Garrett Wilson like 9 times. But like over the course of the game, you weren't seeing Zach Wilson as like this hero ball, any kind of, but he wasn't making mistakes. And that, to me, right now for him is the name of the game. Don't make mistakes and you might win some football games. Yeah,
I mean, James Robinson had a really nice day. They were able to find openings running the football. And if they're able to run the ball successfully, then the Jets are going to have success, more success. I shouldn't say that they're going to have success because they really didn't have the best offensive game. It wasn't like they lit up the scoreboard, but it was against the Bills. So you got to tip your hat. Really what I saw in this game was the Jets defense is legit. They're well balanced. They get after the quarterback on big downs. Meaning like if it's a passing down, they're going to pin their ears back and they're putting pressure on the quarterback. Their secondary is elite and they're getting better as the season goes on. So when you play defense the way that defense is playing, you're going to be in almost every game you play. I don't think it was as big of an upset because when you look at the Jets record, it's like, are the Jets a 1-17? You know, no. Last year, look at what the Bills lost to. They lost to the Jaguars in week 16 or something like that. Trevor Lawrence beat Josh Allen last year. Right?
I looked at this as like, but everybody and their mother has been touting the Bills as like the clear cut winner of the AFC because they're so well rounded, and they were missing a lot of guys. Don't get me wrong; they were missing a lot of guys on defense.
I don't think that this takes that away from the Bills. The Bills, when it's all said and done, if you remember last season, the Bills had a little bit of a stretch where they were really struggling, and they fixed things. And down the stretch, they turned into one of the elite teams that we expected them to be, and they made a playoff push. And if it wasn't for that epic game by Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, then we may have seen the Bills playing in the Super Bowl. So they're there. I wouldn't say the Jets are a better team than the Bills, and I'm not going to sit here and say it was the greatest upset because it's still a division game. And going on the road in a division game, I've seen it happen before where, but the Jets, tip your cap. Fuck you, Josh Allen, and your elbow could go fuck itself too.
The Nordport, that's my buddy Ronnie. He said it opened at 13.5 and closed at 10.5. So that's what I'm saying. Like Vegas thought that the Bills were 14-point, the 2 touchdown favorites over the Jets, and the Jets just came out and beat them up.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
The public went in on the Jets, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. Looks like Shine's coming in. The Jets didn't know their identity last week after Hall and AVT went out. We found out what we're going to be without Hall yesterday. Great run game adjustments. And look, it was a game time decision for James Robinson. He scored. It was just
Josh Allen played like shit. I think a lot of that has to do with the secondary.
And he said that in the postgame. He's like, it's hard to win games when you play like shit.
But you're not going to get that version of Josh Allen the next time you guys play. I can guarantee it.
Seems bitter.
I'm bitter.
Speaking of bitter,
also I wouldn't care if Josh Allen did suck the next time because I don't care about football anymore. So.
Speaking of this is just like every season just comes to a halt real quick. Speaking of halt seasons, the 3-6 Packers. Did you ever think in a million effing years that you would think that the Packers would be 3-6 right now? Losers of what? 5 straight? Is that what it is? Weren't they 3-1? So this is like. Yikes. It all started in jolly old London, and then the wheels just completely fell off. And what I'm seeing out of Rodgers yesterday, and I'm going to just be as blunt and honest as I can about the eye test of watching Aaron Rodgers, and it's not a he doesn't care thing, right? He's just not as good as once before. And when I say good, it's like you lost your receiver. Everybody knew that. So everybody knew it was going to be a struggle for the Packers to find a guy to replicate that. Even if you stockpiled a couple guys, it was going to be hard to replicate that. But what I will say is this. A lot of the, hey, man, go this way, or what the fuck, or then, bro, you short-armed 3 passes yesterday. And on top of that, why is your game plan automatically to throw the ball when you're inside the 5? You got a battering ram in A.J. Dillon. Run the goddamn football. But because you have Aaron Rodgers, Rodgers thinks it's my time. I'm going to put that ball in play and in action.
I can't get into who's thinking what because that's an opinion. We don't know how it went down. The play calling, whoever's to blame, it sucks, right?
Gotta run. At least you're admitting that the play calling was terrible.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is, but I don't know if it's Rodgers saying no, I want a touchdown. Like I think that's being blown way out of proportion. I don't think that's even a shred the case. I think there's got to be something better happening, but I don't know who to blame there because they're not telling us. Oh, Rodgers is saying, let me throw the ball. It's like, is he the fucking coach? No. Matt LaFleur, get your shit together. Or
is Matt LaFleur or the offensive coordinator, the guys calling the plays, do they feel compelled to just like, all right, look,
then if
I know what should happen here, but it's Rodgers.
I don't think that's
because these passes were dog shit. I think the one in the end zone was to a lineman.
I don't think it's the case. I think the first one was a little bit of a bad luck. It was a tip ball. Granted, he shouldn't have thrown it on that, but that's what it is. Like that shit happens down low. I'm not gonna say I'm giving him the pass. It was a bad throw, but okay, it was a jump ball essentially bounced off the lineman's head. Fine. Second one was really bad. Third one was completely an un-Aaron Rodgers-like throw. I've not seen that out of him. And this is what happens when you're reeling. You don't have any fucking help. And his skills obviously are declining a little bit because he's 40 years old or 39 years old. That's just normal.
Unless you're Tom Brady.
Well, no, because bro,
enigma.
Look at what Tom Brady.
No, I think I was the one. I was on the show. Said he was washed.
Let's not talk about Tom Brady like he wasn't the guy in New England that was failing before he left. That team wasn't good anymore, right? They weren't winning. They weren't bottom of the barrel the way the Packers look right now. But it was clear to say like, well, Tom Brady has no help. The wheels are coming off on Tom Brady. He's old, blah, blah, blah. Then the offseason, he goes to Tampa Bay and everyone joins him. And then we all know what happens there. Look, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, I'm tired of it.
Honest question right now, 3-6. You're 4 games. You lost to Minnesota yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're officially, and they're 7-1. So you're officially 4.5 to 5 games behind first place. So first place is waved bye-bye.
We
right?
talked about this last week.
No. I'm not talking about wild card. Like, when is it time? And I'm being dead. I'm not even looking for any kind of reaction. When is it time to say, all right, look, Rodgers looks to be not Rodgers. We got to know what we got behind Aaron Rodgers. When is it Jordan Love time?
You're not. Look, they signed Aaron Rodgers to a 3-year or whatever they got. So there's 50
some
million.
People make mistakes, man. It seems like to be a big one.
My point is they're not going to go and bench Aaron Rodgers. Not yet. So when is the time? I don't know.
If they lose, when is the time?
I would say probably injuries might start piling up.
He has an injury. That's the thing.
I don't think they're going to sit here and say, you know what, Aaron
Something's
Rodgers,
wrong with his finger,
poor play. Is Jordan Love going to make them better?
No,
or you want to
got to know. You got to know.
I mean, they've had him for 3 years now. He's had some game action. I don't know that there's a real reason for it. It's just going to cause mayhem. But it really comes down to, do you want Aaron Rodgers to come back next year if you're the Packers? I'm not so sure. But Aaron Rodgers right now, I got $50 million on the table saying he does come back.
Are you
whether I want it or not?
No, I understand. It's a money thing. But like, are you feeling the same way you felt about like end of Brett Favre era, where you're just like, all right, enough. Like we see he's trying to sling it still.
You're putting an assumption out there that the end of the Brett Favre era, I wanted Brett Favre to stay.
You did,
yeah. Like I wasn't like, oh, we just won.
But you had Rodgers
went
on
to
the bench.
NFC Championship. I've not seen a snap of Aaron Rodgers up to this point in his career. Brett Favre and the Packers were 13-3 that season.
I know.
They lost to the Giants.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like, well, we're right there. Do I really want to start over? No, I don't. I wanted Brett Favre. Now it's a very different scenario.
Yeah,
where
like you're not right there this time around.
We've lost 5 in a row. We have some tough games ahead right now with Dallas and Philly. It's not looking like it's going to get much better. I'm not saying I want Aaron Rodgers' era to end because that would be crazy for me to say. It's a tough spot for a Packer fan to be in. And what's even worse is that you have Bears fans that are reaching out to me yesterday as if their team won the game. Like
they might just be excited about the fact that they have a quarterback. We'll talk about that next.
It's very telling. I can't watch football because the Packers are 3-6. The Bears are 3-6, and they feel like because the Packers suck that
but the Bears were supposed to be like the number 1, number 2 pick next year, and they
good.
Still might be in the top 5. But
good.
They're playing good football.
Are you 3-6? And so like, there's nothing to be happy about. So shut the fuck up.
I don't know if anybody cares about this, but there's breaking news: San Diego State to join the Pac-12. I'm not sure if anybody gives a shit. Oh, NCAA basketball. So
I am. People are saying, "Oh, is Jordan Love the next guy?" Well, he better be, right? We didn't waste 3 years in all this turmoil for Jordan Love to not get his opportunity. Anybody out there saying like, oh, should they go after somebody?
Well,
no, Jordan Love is getting the opportunity next, even if it means us paying him without seeing him.
But in that same argument, though, I'm thinking like, how many years did Rodgers ride the pine? 3, right? So you didn't know what you were going to get when Aaron Rodgers first took the field as the starting quarterback, right?
Nope.
But like you have seen, I don't know, man. It's a different situation right now. It just sucks.
Jordan Love didn't play all that well in his one job. He had one start on the road at Kansas City. They lost 17-16. The Packers were in that game, but the defense really stepped up in that game. Jordan Love was blitzed like 50% of the snaps, which is absurd in the NFL. And he didn't really hold up, but it was his first start. So I've seen enough out of him in preseason this year where I was like, okay, he looks like he knows the offense a lot better, but that's preseason. It means nothing.
All right.
Malik Willis looked good in the preseason.
Again, it's a big deal. The Packers are never this bad. So this is it's a big story. But staying within the division, the Bears do lose another football game. Tua looks as advertised one more time. Tyreek Hill playing great. Waddle playing great. Mostert scores again. Like the Dolphins offense is humming right now. But I guess the big story is we had some history yesterday, I guess. I mean, again, in a losing effort, there's no moral victories here. But Justin Fields breaks Michael Vick's record as far as most rushing yards as a quarterback in one game. That's cool. But, like, is this sustainable? We talked about him on the Mojo Market Report this morning. Like, the Bears are finally figuring out, all right, it's time to call this guy's number a little bit more often. But, like, how long can you do that before this guy starts looking like he's just a marshmallow because he's just getting beat to shit because of the amount of runs? Now, I raised that question to the same breath as the guy that's going to play tonight, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson at this point was already winning MVPs, right? He's electrifying the entire league. Justin Fields has just done it and has picked up in the last 4 weeks. Should the Bears fans be finally optimistic, though, that this, at least on the interim, when I say interim, I mean like the next 2 years, can the Bears get by with Justin Fields doing what he's doing that way right now?
Well,
again, they lost the game, so
yes,
that's what I'm saying. You
so
got to win games.
Justin Fields is playing better, right? They're designing runs for him, and they're starting to finesse the offense to tailor his skill set. Good job on the Bears. But the issue with Justin Fields has never been, can he run the football? I think everybody's always known that. They need to see progression out of him in throwing the football. And we've yet to see that. Now, there is a little bit better numbers when you're looking at the passing stats, but not anything to write home about. He's only got one game this year where he's eclipsed a 200-yard mark. If you look at his rushing totals, yeah, they're great, but they're 1-2 in those games in the last 3 weeks. So he's been lighting it up. They didn't win. Yesterday, they didn't win, and they didn't win against Dallas. So while it was nice to see him in the New England game, it's nice to see him get Cole Kmet involved, he still has to get better at throwing the football. Is Justin Fields the guy in Chicago? Yeah, they mortgaged their entire future on Justin Fields, so they're going to give him as many opportunities as possible. But in the comparison to Lamar in year 2 at week 9, he was clear-cut favorite to win the MVP.
He was a Cuban joystick at the moment.
He had 20 passing touchdowns at that point.
But I'm seeing some Lamar-esque traits right now, dude.
Where? On the ground.
On the ground, yeah.
So, while he can be a solid quarterback and he needs to improve passing if he wants to stick around in the league for a 15-year stretch or a 10-year stretch or get that second contract. I don't see that yet out of Justin Fields. And I know people are going to sit here and bash me and say, oh, it's because he's the Bears. And you're
just one guy over here. That's just Jay Silva.
It has nothing to do with it. Have you watched the Bears for the last 2 seasons? What have you seen out of Justin Fields throwing the football?
Well, I would have to say this is some recency bias right now. You know what I mean? Like what they're seeing right now is very exciting shit for the Bears fans out there because, again, the guy is running all over the planet. And, again, to me, I don't give a shit what records you're breaking. Give me a win, right? So that is the big thing. Get a win. But the Bears aren't designed right now to win football games, right? They're trading away their best pieces. They're acquiring all these draft picks. They got over $100 million next year to spend on toys for Justin Fields. This might be a changing of the guard as far as rank for the Bears.
He's getting better, but it's still not great throwing the football. The touchdowns are starting to add up, though, so I'll give him that. Yeah. And he's not turning the ball over as much that he was in the first 3 weeks. I'll give him that. So improvements are there. Hey, I'll definitely eat crow if Justin Fields is a good player in this league. I'm not going to be able to deny that. Dave had to do it with Jalen Hurts this year.
Yeah,
he turned the corner. It is what it is.
I invested in him.
I just don't see it yet. What I'm seeing out of Justin Fields is something that I already knew existed. So I fully expected him to be able to win games with his legs. Can he sustain it? Can he make the Bears a viable contender year in, year out over the next decade? I'm not sure about
Well,
that.
like I said, they got a lot of capital to do so. So if they think this is it, they got this guy on a rookie deal for now, much like a Trevor Lawrence or much like any of these upstart rookies on these rookie deals. This is where you got to capitalize, because once Fields demands the $50 million a year he's going to get.
I just want to run this back because this is pain. Stick your foot in your mouth after that comment. He said Lamar also had a lot more to work with in that offense than Fields did.
No, he didn't.
And we looked
We did look at that.
And he did not.
No,
Who was
he did
his
not.
number one, Dave?
Hollywood
Brown?
No, it wasn't
even
Hollywood.
His rookie year?
No, Hollywood Brown was the third receiver on that team. It was bad. It was we looked into this because I was curious, because I'm the one who actually said what Payne said, and you're like,
it was
hold
like
on,
rookie
go
year,
look.
Mark Andrews, who had a decent year, but he
No,
only played
but the
about
receivers
30%
were
of the snaps.
bad. It was very bad. I'll just look at it because
It wasn't anybody
I
that
have to-
we can
like,
even
you're-
remember.
you're gonna look at this. All right, Lamar Jackson rookie
So
year
Chris
was what?
Payne, wrong.
Rookie year was 2018. So the 2018 Ravens. All right. So if I'm looking at that Pro Football Reference, with the Ravens rushing and receiving, guys like Ty Montgomery. Am I looking at the right team? Hold on. I have to know this because I have to. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's the 2018 team. So their team leader in receiving was, yards wise, 715 by one John Brown, and right behind him was a Willie Snead. They had Michael Crabtree on the back end of his career. They had a Nick Boyle playing tight end, right? Like, this team was bad. So for the fact that Lamar did it with all this less, you can't make that argument. It's definitely wrong. Wrong. So, sorry, Payne, you're out. He also says best Ohio State quarterback to play in the NFL basically ever. Yes. And there's one Hawaii/Florida Mike that will probably agree with you there. But yes.
Yeah, so Justin Fields
Chris
is a
Child's
bum,
favorite, Nick's
guys.
legend,
No,
brother.
Justin Fields, he's a good running quarterback. He's yet to
He's
prove
Lamar
to me that
Jackson.
he's a good passing quarterback.
But anyway, let's move on. But hey, shout out to the Dolphins. It's not like I'm omitting the fact that the Dolphins played some good football.
Tyreek
yesterday.
Hill, we talked about it.
Yeah,
Record-setting Jalen Waddle, beast.
Absolute stud.
And Tua is 6-0 as a starter in games that he's started and finished, because they lost the 2 games he didn't play and the game that he left
Yeah. Casey
at
just
halftime.
Casey just said the same thing. I take the Bears wide receiving core over what Jackson was working with as MVP 10 years out of 10, like 10 times out of 10, like 100%. What he has right now, it's great. Can you can you do the drum? Turn the lights off, Skid. It's one of my favorites. Where am I at? Okay, so the Vikings will stay in the NFC North. It seems to be a trend right now. The Vikings take care of business. However, it was in a comeback fashion. So the Commanders had themselves a lead. Here comes Kirk, and the Vikings came all the way back and they won the game. And of course, the viral thing going on right now is Kirk Cousins shirtless with a bunch of ice.
Frank Reich fired.
Huh?
Frank Reich fired, and Xavier McKinney.
Yo, I called that yesterday.
Xavier McKinney, broken hand on the bye week, ATV accident, out multiple weeks. So giant safety.
Oh my God. The wheels on the bus go around. Dude, first of all, I called the right thing. I called the right thing yesterday, sitting there. I told my dad, I was like, I don't think he makes it past this. Like, this team is shit. And they moved them. I can't believe they fired Frank Reich. That's brutal. That is brutal. That is not his fault, man. I mean, look, you paid that offensive line to block. You got Matt Ryan because you thought the GM thought that was a good move.
If there's somebody, if it's anybody's fault, if there's somebody to go, it's the head coach.
But that sucks. He's a fall guy. He's not a bad head coach. He
had a good roster, and he blew it up.
Toast with the bombshell right now.
I think he deserves to be fired. Whether I like him or not is irrelevant. He does not deserve the job anymore after what he's put together through the first half of the NFL season. Point blank, period. The Colts were supposed to be a contender.
A quarterback.
Colts were
Matt
supposed to be
Ryan's
a
a
contender.
fossil. He's a
They didn't have a
Sam
quarterback.
Ellinger looks like he's still in college.
They didn't have a quarterback last year.
And that wasn't even his decision. Let's go trade for Carson Wentz.
It doesn't matter. It wasn't ours either. He gone. So
this is not breaking news. Packers fire LaFleur, according to Jay Silva. But if they're not playing Matt Ryan because he gets hurt, they own $15 million.
And they're like building a statue for Eberflus outside Chicago after fucking 1 and 2.
You're on around Eber. Philly.
They're like 1-2 over the last 3, and Chicago fans are out, or their dicks are hard.
They're right next to Jordan's at the Allstate Arena, whatever it's called. The arenas, they got Eberflus freaking banner. But look, overall, and here, Rube, here the parade has started, folks.
We're good.
Justin Fields better than
rewinded. I already
triple A's, by the way.
Your mouth breathing ass in the earlier portion of the show.
Some people join us now. It depends on when they have their lunch breaks, or in Rube's case, when he's done setting all of his daily fantasy lineups and shit, or whatever the frick he does on a daily basis. I swear to Christ, if I have to follow Rube, I'm living vicariously through Rube's stories. He's at somewhere new every day. It's fucking amazing.
Elite.
What do you say? Just Oh, wait a minute. Rube, there's some fantasy. Did Scoop beat Rube in fantasy this week? Because I know I'm inches away. I'm inches away in that league, or the Dynasty League at least. Then that's not that league, because I'm getting smoked by Zoof or Zeph or whatever the fuck his name is. I'm getting murdered by him. But I will say that I am inches away from taking down Shine in the Dynasty League. We'll see if that happens. He's got the Ravens defense. I got Likely, and I think I'm up 5. So interesting. But anyway, the Vikings get a chance to win this game late. They do. They're 7-1. The dancing was horrible. He's all iced out doing his thing. But look, just like we said, or I said it this on the Mojo Market Report, the cringeworthy shit usually comes from what?
I was talking. I'm just addressing Bobby in the comments. Yeah,
Bobby,
tough one for me, buddy. I watched both of my seasons end in one fell swoop. The Packers officially, like I expected that loss.
Rube said he's scrolling back. Be right back, Christopher. So
I could just readdress it. It's embarrassing to be 1-2 over 3 weeks and lighting up my Twitter at my darkest hour. You piece of shit.
All I do, I put out like smoke signals to the group. Like people that I know shouldn't do what they do. Like I'm talking to like Tommy and Rob on the Fight Factor thing. I'm like, guys, don't text Chris.
I don't care. Like I'm not
because I just know how I would feel. I would break my phone and tell you I never want to talk to you again.
I'm not going to do any of that. I'm not going to even let you know that I low key don't like you anymore. I'm just going to let it be, and I'm going to treat you accordingly going forward.
Let it be. All right.
I don't need to fucking get involved in deep conversations about shit.
Deep conversations. Last night, there was also a Sunday Night Football game. I guess we can get into that one, as the Chiefs, who looked pretty stagnant throughout the course of the first half of 3/4 of this game. But the Titans looked like they had a decent recipe on defense. Shout out to, their coaching staff, and the Titans defense is as no namers as they are. I know they signed Bud Dupree. He got hurt. Not Bud Dupree. Who got hurt? Who?
Landry.
He was hurt already, but Bud Dupree got hurt last night. So like they're kind of messing with.
I don't know. I didn't watch football last night. So
he is so depressed.
I'm a box score one. I'm gonna box score this up.
Well, the box score. I watched the entire game in its entirety because I needed Mahomes to do work to beat Evan in my home league, and I did that. But it took all the way to the fourth quarter for them to get going. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes for calling his own number twice in this one, where it was like 3rd and like 17 or something like that. He ran it for 18, like through the middle of the field. Wasn't even like scurrying down the sidelines. So the man took it and ran. So shout out to Mahomes. Again, one of the best, if not the best player in football right now, as far as quarterbacks are concerned. But what I will say is the Titans could be for real. Now, my question to you, Chris, is the move to Malik Willis yesterday. And again, Tannehill was ruled out. We said it wrong. We said if Tannehill goes, we pick the Chiefs. I mean, we picked the Titans. If Willis goes, he's going to struggle, and we pick the Chiefs, right? So we had it wrong on that regard. But what I will say is this: that team with an RPO option with a Derrick Henry is very, very, very violent. Like that's a very scary offense. If this kid learns how to throw. Which again, there was a couple dots was thrown last night.
I mean, he knows how to throw, but they still have only
Titans receivers had 0 catches, by the way. I knew that for a fact.
They still
double downing.
They still have only had 34 points in the 2 starts combined.
They need offense,
right?
But I'm saying it's just the versatility. It's there.
So I wasn't wrong in saying like the offense looked like shit. Their defense stepped up in this one big time, and Derrick Henry does what he does. But Tannehill plays in this game. That's a better team. They're a better offense. They're better across the board. There's no doubt.
I just see a better running team when Willis is in the game.
Because the Titans have not been a good running team with Tannehill.
No, they have, but I'm seeing a better option. Now you have to worry. You don't have to worry about Tannehill taking off.
But you do not have to worry one bit about a receiver catching a pass.
Yeah, but that was with Tannehill in there too.
No. Still though, 0.
But I'm saying, even with Tannehill in there, they got rid of AJ Brown. They never addressed it. And don't tell me ACL Robert Woods was the way to address it. Traylon Burks got asthma.
If you're asking me, the question here is Malik Willis making them a better team? Absolutely not.
Okay.
No way in hell. Not yet, at least.
All
right now, Ryan Tannehill, look, bro, the Titans, guess how many games in a row they won going into this one?
0.
5.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we keep on talking about Tannehill, and he's still winning football games. So that point spread reflected what people think of Malik Willis and Tannehill. It went up to like 14 because it was Malik Willis.
Yep, lost that one too. Moving on to another, again, just a weird feel, man, to this game. Is like the Rams, they might be one of the worst teams in football right now. Like, I'm looking at this team. I love Cooper Kupp, and I love what he does every time he's in space. He can go. He's probably the best top 3 receivers in football, right? But like outside of that, with their offensive line woes and Stafford looking older by the day, like the Rams are in trouble. And McVay is coming out yesterday and today, kind of double downing. Changes will be made. Chris, what's that mean? What are they going to do? They can't bench Stafford. What are they going to do? Is it a running back situation? Like Henderson got a lot of carries yesterday. Akers, who fell out of favor with the team, had like 7 carries yesterday. So it's like, what do we do? What changes is that the addressing of OBJ? Like the rumors of him going to Dallas are out there, but now all of a sudden is McVay be like, look, go get me OBJ. I need somebody else to catch.
If you're OBJ, where are you going? The Rams? Hell no. OBJ is picking out a spot. OBJ might be a Bill. He's going to just handpick. He might be a Chief. You don't know what's going to happen there. I know for a fact it's not going to be the Packers. It's not going to be the Rams.
Cowboys are in the hunt right now.
It's not going to be the Bucks. That's for goddamn sure. These two teams, Sam said it best, these are 2 bad teams. We could sit here and talk about what's wrong with them, but we all know what's wrong with them. They don't do anything well on both sides of the ball.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Tom Brady, obviously, he hits, what's this guy right in the face? Scotty Miller right in the face in the end zone. Could have been the hero then. Scotty Miller makes up for it on the game-winning drive where he goes down the field. I think he caught like 3 of the balls on the way down.
Yeah.
Listen,
the right here, what we're getting out of this is just like 1 week pass for the Bucks to not just identify how bad that offense looked. Outside of the final drive, they had 9 points on the board. Very Packer-esque against a defense that's surrendered a ton. So, yeah, both these teams are shit. I don't expect to see much noise out of either one down the stretch.
Well, they're all hurt, Rube. Like the offensive line is banged up. They've had like 7 different rotations in offensive line ever since Whitworth retired. It's just like downhill from there. Like they didn't address that. And how you don't address that? And now look what the Rams did. Yes, they got themselves a championship, and all 7 Rams fans in the country got excited about a Super Bowl title. But now look what you've done. You got no offense. You got no draft capital. You got no money. You got nothing. The Rams are going to spiral out of this fucking world right now because they just don't have the capital to rebound off this shit.
But there's a chance, and I hate to say this to you, but there's a team that's not as bad off because they didn't mortgage their entire draft capital. But there's a couple teams, the Cowboys are one, that they're in a similar situation financially. The Cowboys
got all their draft picks.
I know. I'm just saying the Cowboys are in a similar situation financially where they're going to have trouble signing guys. They haven't done what the Rams have done. The Rams are in way over their head, and their team isn't good still. So the Cowboys are at least.
But the Cowboys haven't had to do that.
I agree, but the Rams won their Super Bowl.
Correct.
So that's the difference.
Correct. And Dallas, do you think
I think there's a good argument to be made.
By watching both of these teams last night,
you could look at the Lakers too, where they suck right now. They mortgaged everything, their future, but they won that chip 2 years ago.
And people forget that shit. People forget it.
Yeah.
What have you done for me lately? So look,
the owner doesn't forget it when he's got all that money.
True story about these 2 teams, right? These guys like Tampa Bay, LA, Green Bay, like the 49ers are in the conversation of being okay because again, they're gonna get going. And I firmly believe that. Seattle, we'll get into Seattle in a minute, but like I'm gonna say this now. If at all years the Cowboys had a chance to do anything.
You haven't heard
this is it.
You haven't heard Dave say this yet, by the way. He's just saying it just now, or you said this last
watching
week?
This shit.
Yeah,
it's like solidifying my point.
The Cowboys have a shot. No question about it. There's no doubt about it. They're a top 3 NFC team, arguably top 2.
They're the second best team in the NFC right now, pound for pound. They really are.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're better than the Vikings right now. They'll play the Vikings a couple weeks.
They're a better team than the Vikings as well. I do.
They're better than everybody in the West.
You
They're
know,
better
but
than everybody in the South.
You can make the case that the Vikings, you could put them above the Cowboys. I'm not doing that. So that's why I say the second, arguably third, depending. I think the Cowboys are a better
Speaking
team.
of first place, Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle, though, that could be a conversation.
What? Seattle?
Yeah.
First of all, they lost more games than Dallas already.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
but
I mean,
if that's how we're
but
doing it, then Dallas lost more games than the Vikings. So we're not playing that game.
Well, we'll play the game of who we lost to. We lost to the Eagles.
And who did the Vikings lose to?
I don't know.
The Eagles.
All right, so the Eagles are good. And that's why they're number one in the NFC. So keep going here. Like I said, Seattle gets another win. Kenneth Walker has another day. Invested his ass in Mojo and made some more money on him. But look, the Cardinals are, again, what we thought was going to be this turnaround because, here comes Hopkins. And now all of a sudden, Murray looks a little bit better with a receiver, number one receiver over there. And then lo and behold, they throw up this stinker. They're arguing on the sidelines. Robbie Anderson, there's like one still shot of you could see two faces. Like it's Murray and it's Hopkins arguing, but then in the background, far off into the distance, just staring is Robbie Anderson. And I think the captain's can we get traded after the trade deadline? So it's the Cardinals are in disarray right now. I'm here for it because, again, I don't like Kyler Murray at all. And I think this might be the worst investment going forward. I don't know, man. You pay that boy a lot of money for him to have that shitty ass record. And the Seattle Seahawks are doing it with Geno Smith, Kenneth Walker, and DK Metcalf on a rookie deal. What am I looking at?
Nothing.
Green Bay Trashers. Okay. But anyway, so yes. So again, Seattle looks good. We don't have to talk too much about them. They're playing very good football. What we will do.
Kenneth Walker the third. Woo.
Yeah, absolutely. What we will do is talk about the season ending for the Las Vegas Raiders. It is done. The ship has sailed. We knew this about both teams, but whoever won this game was going to stay a little bit more relevant down the stretch. The Jaguars did it. Trevor Lawrence delivered. We said it. We kind of questioned it and said, look, if Lawrence don't do it against the worst secondary in the league, forget about Lawrence. He did just enough to get this done, and a win is a win is a win. But what the hell happened to the Raiders in the second half? They looked like world beaters in the first half. Adams looked finally right with Carr, and things were jolly over there in London, in Jacksonville. And I'm like, all right, this is going to work. This is going to work. They're going to get this together. They're going to get it all together and be relative in the bro. How do you not hold on against the Jaguars? The Jaguars, dude. Travis Etienne ran his balls off again.
The Jaguars, you got to tip your cap. The Raiders, they came out firing, but Josh McDaniels, I'm putting this one on the coach, man. You got that lead. You got to do better.
He might be the worst coach in football, too.
He's got to talk about someone should get fired. That guy he'll be hired again in a week if they fire him. So send him back to New England and have him be the OC over there. That'll happen within 1 second flat. But Josh McDaniels, he doesn't deserve a head coaching job in the NFL. You could talk about the players. The Raiders defense is bad and they gave up a ton in the second half. And you got to tip your hat. Jacksonville stepped up and they did what they had to do. But really, this is more so the Raiders just being a bad team than the Jacksonville Jaguars doing anything well.
Are you done with Carr? Are they done with Carr?
They should be.
Right? You would think they got to start addressing something.
It could be a careful.
I understand
what
you paired the guys together, but it's not working out.
That's not how this shit works.
No, it's not working out. Anyway, listen to this. Can't hold anything against the Jaguars. Their quarterback is generational. Look, Payne, you got a lot of nerve, man. Coming out, you drafted 4 quarterbacks since Trevor Lawrence has been in the league, and you can't get it right yet. So Trevor Lawrence, we've bashed him, we've praised him. He gets a win here. He's not generational like everybody says. He ain't Andrew Luck coming out of college, but again, he got a win, and that's the name of the game. So moving on to this game sucked. It was just Patriots defense all day. This game is the game that got Frank Reich fired. This is an incredible situation to be in right now for whoever the hell takes over in New England. I mean, in Indianapolis. I still can't get over it. But anyway, I'm getting a text here. Okay, I'll just address that as well. But anyway, so again, huge win for the Patriots to stay afloat. I don't think the Patriots are a threat to the Bills or the Dolphins or the Jets this year. I don't. I still think they're kind of lousy on offense. But again, you play a shitty team like the Colts, and you're going to Ramondre Stevenson, great running back. He's playing well. I don't like Mac Jones.
Not a
I don't
threat
think
to the Jets, but they just embarrassed the Jets literally 8 days ago.
Don't matter. Down the road, down the stretch, I don't think this team's going to be in it.
I disagree. I think that the Jets there's still real issues with the Jets offense, and Buffalo, they didn't play well in that game. And the Jets, but there's a threat there. the Patriots could easily finish higher in the standings than the Jets right now.
As predicted, also baseball breaking news, DeGrom just opted out of his contract, will enter free agency. So congratulations to the Atlanta Braves for the services of Jacob DeGrom.
No, that was a guarantee. Like that
Mojo Rob coming through us. He's over at
that
the
was
Mojo.
a guarantee.
That's what he wanted.
There was never a day over the last year that anybody did not expect DeGrom to opt out. That's standard. When CC opted out, when A-Rod opted out, it just means like
Scherer opted out. They all opted
out. It means that you put yourself in a position with your contract that you signed to opt out and maximize your potential.
Carlos Correa as well, according to Payne, but we all knew that as well. That was coming. That was imminent. That's just what it is. All right. So the Colts get their win. Here's one that we haven't talked about in this show. We talked about it at length on the Mojo Market Report because of the fact that Mr. Joe Mixon had himself a day yesterday, boy. 5 touchdowns, incredible game out of the Bengals. And my question to Chris, and I guess the masses, is this the recipe that they have to do now because of no Chase for the next couple of weeks? We don't know the status or the length of that, but when we first heard about Chase going down, and then we watched this Bengals team last week, we're like, bro, they are shit without Chase. And then they run into a bad Panthers team, and this was like that get-right game that they needed to show how good Mixon still is.
Yes, this will be the recipe. If the recipe is to play Carolina every week with no Jamar Chase, then yes, that would be. I don't know that they're going to have the type of success that they had every week with Joe Mixon running the ball.
No, probably not, but it was fun.
But yes, they have to get the ground game going and alleviate some of the issues for the offensive line and get Joe Burrow comfortable in the pocket, because when they can't run the football, things become a lot harder for him. Jamar Chase, now I think that they're like at the halfway point. If they could win one more, lose one more, I don't know what their schedule looks like, but the Bengals are going to be in it at the end, at least for contending for a playoff spot. I think that the division's still up.
That's what I'm saying. They're still in the division.
The Ravens aren't really running away with anything. So yeah, the Bengals, they'll bridge the gap. They'll be fine towards the end of the season. Joe Mixon had a career day. There was a point yesterday where I thought he might break the NFL record for touchdowns in a game, but
it seemed like it was on its way. All right, let's move on.
But Baker's now starter in Carolina again?
I don't know if that's a thing. If that's a thing, that sucks for them. Another game I didn't really pay too much attention to outside of the fact that the Falcons had a shot to win this game. Justin Herbert, I will say this. He ain't the needle's here. He ain't moving it for me anymore. And maybe it's because, look, Mike Williams is out. Keenan Allen's been banged up all year. His offensive weapons are kind of down, right? But you still got Eckler, and you still got guys like Single Digit Everett who dropped a couple balls yesterday. Where I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like the Chargers, are they motivated? Are they coached well? I don't know, man. The Chargers were my darling in the beginning of this season when I was starting to pick teams to maybe make a run. Chargers don't look fun at all anymore. I don't know. And Mariota played piss poor yesterday to my standards, and he almost got a win here.
So the Chargers, I think they're 5-3, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
So as bad as they've looked, they're still 5-3, and they've had probably the worst stretch of injuries over the last month out of any team in football. So they've gotten destroyed defensively with injuries, and obviously on offense, you talked about Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. So while Justin Herbert, he hasn't moved the needle for me either. But when you look at this, what's happening with that roster, you have to tip your hat because he's weathered the storm. And as they start to get some of these offensive players back, which hopefully they do, I think that they could find themselves in a nice spot down the stretch in the AFC. The Raiders are not what we expected. Or
Broncos sure shit suck.
The Broncos suck. So everything is there for the taking. And nobody's really expecting them to, maybe in the beginning of the year, we all expected them to contend with the Chiefs in that division. But I think that kind of flipped on its head after week 1 or 2. Now the Chargers are going to be firmly entrenched in a playoff battle, and we'll get to see what Justin Herbert's made of in the postseason.
I just looked just because I was curious. The AFC East, every single team in the AFC East is above 500.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
You can't write the Patriots off.
I'm writing the Patriots off, but I'm just saying.
Are they tied with the Jets?
No, they're a game behind.
But if they win next week and the Jets lose, then they're ahead of them in the standings because they
correct.
So
yeah, but until they meet again. Ready for this? Weird schedule, how this played out. Jets got to bye next week. They come back and play New England again. So we'll see what happens there. One more game to play, and that's tonight. The New Orleans Saints hosting the Baltimore Ravens here. Again, storylines going into this one. The Ravens are depleted. Another year. Fire your trainers, by the way, Baltimore. Like every year, it's somebody else. Bateman out for the year. Dobbins is on the IR. Gus Bus is derailed. He's got a flat tire. He's not going to go. Kenyon Drake,
Mark Andrews
is out. Like Kenyon Drake's going to play. Justice Hill's going to play. Great. That doesn't, again, there's no needle moving there. Lamar Jackson's going to have to do a lot of this shit by himself. and or Duvernay or Isaiah Likely, like a couple guys there that you can kind of get behind. I know for Danny's sake, my brother, he's up by like 6 and he's going against Duvernay. And I was like, I don't see it. You know, like I know he's like the only guy, but it's just like he's only gone over like 8 points fantasy like 3 times this year out of 8 games. So I was like, I don't see it. But again, rooting for you, Dan. But anyway, so back to the game itself. Saints coming in there with obviously again, we couldn't even determine who the hell the quarterback was this morning. I don't think
I think it's Dalton.
Dalton, I guess, has been playing well enough to be the quarterback. I don't think what's this guy's hurt anymore.
No, he's the backup.
I saw him with pads on last week.
Yeah, Jameis is the backup.
Crazy. Scoop coming in saying every stat I've looked at makes me want to take the Ravens. Therefore, I'm taking the Saints. So look, the spread is what it is right now. The Saints are home dogs right now. And I foresee this could be look, Kamara coming off a very, very good game. Olave playing out of this world, the potential rookie of the year candidate. I don't know, man. I'll start this. I'll start the picks. I like the Saints here. I think Lamar's going to have to be Superman tonight. And while I know he has the traits to really pull some rabbits out the hat, Saints, I think the Saints are done as far as the season's concerned. I don't look at them as a contending team right now. They're 3-5, but they get a win here, and they're literally tied for first place. So, like, I don't look at the Saints as a long-term play, but if the Saints believe in the Saints and they get a win here tonight, this is going to go a long way for their season outlook.
Yeah, the Saints being at home getting points scares me a little bit.
It's the dome.
But I don't know for a fact what the numbers are, and this is a lean show, so it doesn't really matter. It's not really a lean show. We're making our picks for this. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't get over the fact that it jumps out at me that I've seen the Ravens and John Harbaugh coach teams are just dominant in primetime. And this is a primetime game. So for that reason and for that reason alone, I'm going to trust Scoop's numbers and that everything's pointing him towards the Ravens in this one. And I think that it's for a good reason. And John Harbaugh doesn't lose primetime games.
I wonder if Rob's still in the
probably
house.
Coming off like 3 straight primetime losses based off of
I know, right?
Based off of how this season has gone.
But yeah, I will take the Saints here. We're both on the Saints. We'll wait for Rob's pick in a little bit. I guess he could text me.
No.
What?
I picked the Ravens.
He picked the Ravens?
I picked the Ravens.
Oh, you picked the Ravens?
Yes.
Oh shit. All right, my fault. Well, he said the numbers are on the Ravens. That's why he's picking the Saints. So I thought you said I'm with Scoop. So in my mind,
I'm trusting the numbers that he picked are pointing towards the Ravens. He's saying that's why I'm not going to fade his analysis like he is.
Interesting coincidence here, but the East is the most competitive division in both conferences, and the South is the worst division in both conferences. Well, nobody likes the South. So
I felt like the South was expected to possibly be the worst this year in both.
Well, we knew the AFC South for sure. I knew. I mean, that made sense for me. I don't know. But yeah, so that'll do it. We got our picks in. We got our show done. This has been an absolute banger of an episode. Once again, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you tuning in and day out when we're here. Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, we're going live at 11 o'clock. Tell your friends, share the wealth, share this stream, tell people about us. We're here. Some big things in the developments right now. I'm taking another meeting at 12:15 today to kind of lock down something that's going to be big for Chop Sports, big for the brand, big for exposure and everything like that. So we're excited about it. I'm excited about it. I know Chris, he doesn't show any emotion on his face at any time, no matter what we're doing over here at the studio. He's doing the Orange Cassidy. Anybody wrestling fan just sitting there just like that. That's the thumbs up. Not like just that's it. That's all you're getting out of Chris. But we want to thank you guys again for watching. We appreciate you guys. Bear down, according to Jay Silva. He's all in on this. Rodgers, Packers dead, Rodgers dead, Chris dead. Hope you had a fun season, Chris.
I'm here to tell you, Rube, I hate to burst your hopes and dreams, but I have not had a fun season. So no, your hopes go out the window on that one, buddy. Terrible season.
Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, thank you guys for watching. For Sturch and Gooch over here, a shell of Gooch. This has been another episode of the Chop Sports Show.
He's such a grizzled loser that he's happy to be a loser as long as there's other losers in the room.
Misery loves company. You've never heard it?
Yes,
all right. Well, there you go. It's perfect right then and there. All right, guys. At least he's laughing. It's all good fun here. We'll see you guys back here on Thursday. Take care, everybody.